It all started with a voicemail that was never supposed to go public, and now the internet is ablaze. An emotional message, allegedly written by Kirk Frost to young Jock, has surfaced online, triggering a wave of shock and flipping the situation on its head. Kirk's voice trembles in the audio as he pleads, "Bro, don't let this destroy everything. I need you to hear me out. I messed up." Known for being tough and calculated on screen, Kirk's unexpected vulnerability stunned fans. Just as people began to wonder if he was genuinely trying to fix things, things took a darker turn. A second video clip dropped just hours later, and this one had nothing to do with regret. It focused entirely on accountability. Now the world of hip-hop and reality TV is spiraling into chaos. Was young Jock set up by Kirk? Are these clips being released on purpose to damage someone's image? Why hasn't Jock spoken up? What's the next twist? Above all, don't look away, because this could turn out to be the biggest betrayal we've seen yet. What began as a seemingly sincere plea for forgiveness has evolved into a full-blown media storm. When the private voicemail leaked, everything changed for Kirk Frost, young Jock, and the love and hip-hop universe. Meant to stay behind the scenes, that voicemail sparked what might be the wildest scandal in reality TV history. In the clip, allegedly from Kirk to Jock, he sounds truly remorseful, begging for a second chance. "Please, bro, I made a bad call. Don't let this end everything we've been through." Fans were floored. Kirk, often portrayed as emotionally guarded, was suddenly exposed in a raw, almost broken state. His words stumbled, his voice cracked. Even longtime viewers were shocked to see this side of him. For a moment, people thought maybe he really did feel sorry. Maybe he wanted to fix things with Jock. But as more context emerged, the story became more tangled. Just a few hours later, another recording surfaced. This time, it was a phone call to someone close to Kirk, someone in his inner circle. But the tone was completely different. There was no remorse, no sadness, no pleading. Instead, Kirk sounded calculated, controlled, and possibly planning something far more complex. Things were starting to spiral into something more serious. "I'm done with this," the voice snapped. "I don't even understand what kind of game he's playing." It became clear. He always wanted the chaos. He's the one stirring the pot, not me. "I won't sit here and take the blame." Kirk. Frost's voice had regained its usual calm tone, but now it carried hints of anger, disappointment, and most noticeably, betrayal. Why would someone who was just pleading for forgiveness suddenly flip the script? How could a man who seemed desperate for Jock's support so quickly turn on him? The initial voicemail had moved fans. It painted Kirk as a broken man trying to make peace. But now, everything felt different. Was this all an act? Had Kirk faked his emotional plea just to gain sympathy from the public? And why did such a personal moment get shared so publicly in the first place? The second voicemail shattered any feelings of compassion. Instead of sorrow, it was filled with blame and pointed accusations. Fans, and even those close to him, were completely thrown off by this drastic change in tone. Who was the real Kirk Frost? Was this a clever manipulation, or had he truly regretted his actions, only to snap when things didn't go his way? Clearly, this wasn't just a plea for forgiveness anymore. It had become a full-on conflict. And at the center of this media firestorm was young Jock, Kirk's longtime friend. But how did Jock really feel about all this? Since the recordings leaked, he hadn't said a word. Everyone was waiting for his response, wondering if he was angry, heartbroken, or just indifferent. His silence only fueled speculation. Meanwhile, the Love and Hip Hop crew was working overtime behind the scenes, trying to keep everything under control. Insiders claimed that Mona Scott Young, the show's creator, was furious about the situation. This was chaos on a whole new level, even for a show built on drama. Kirk's future on the show was suddenly in question. Producers debated whether he should be dropped altogether, especially if it turned out that he'd orchestrated this drama for personal attention. In the following days, more details began to emerge. Some claimed that the second voicemail had been intentionally leaked by someone close to Jock. It didn't seem like a coincidence. Why else would that second recording come out just hours after the first one? Was someone trying to destroy Kirk's image? Or was it Kirk himself trying to play both sides? Rumors were exploding all over the set. Some believed Jock had been quietly planning to get even. Others thought the whole thing had been staged from the beginning, just to boost publicity. People were left asking themselves, was all of this just a setup? The line between what was real and what might have been carefully orchestrated was starting to blur. Had things truly spiraled out of control, or was this chaos part of something bigger? Pressure was mounting around Kirk, and public opinion was clearly split. Some fans still believed he was genuinely remorseful and wanted to make things right. But others had started to see a different side of him. The man who had begged for forgiveness earlier was now constantly dodging blame and offering excuses. This emotional back and forth was starting to wear people out. Meanwhile, Kirk's wife, Rashida, was unintentionally dragged into the middle of the mess. She'd stood by him for years, often supporting him through difficult times. But now she was being thrown into a spotlight she hadn't asked for. Her personal life was unraveling, thanks to Kirk's never-ending drama. Was this the breaking point? Would this be the moment she finally walked away, or would she continue standing by his side despite everything? Fans were glued to the situation, anxiously waiting to see what decision Rashida would make next. One thing was obvious. This storm wasn't passing anytime soon. More recordings and phone calls began to appear, each one adding new twists to the already tangled story. The mystery deepened. Who was behind the leaks? Was Kirk truly the one being wronged? Or was he secretly pulling the strings in a plan to destroy his own reputation before someone else could? Everyone was watching, waiting for the next revelation, and it was clear the drama had only just begun. Would young Jock finally speak out? Had Kirk done too much damage, or could a genuine apology save his image? And perhaps most importantly, how would Mona Scott Young deal with all of this? No one had a clue how this wild saga was going to end, but one thing was certain. Kirk Frost was on the edge, and everything was at stake. The situation was unraveling quickly as tensions between Kirk and Jock reached a boiling point. What began as a quiet attempt at reconciliation had now turned into a full-blown public feud. With the voicemails out in the open, all eyes were on the two stars, and the media frenzy only made things worse. The energy between Kirk and Jock was clearly hostile, and it didn't look like their friendship could survive the fallout. Fans who had once rooted for Kirk were now questioning everything. When he first asked for forgiveness, many believed him. But now, after witnessing the cold shift from emotional regret to calculated finger-pointing, they weren't so sure. The people who had been invested in his redemption arc were left disappointed by this dramatic change. At this point, the public's patience was running thin, and it seemed like Kirk's chance at earning their trust again might already be gone. People began to question whether Kirk Frost was genuinely a victim or simply another player in the love and hip-hop world using the chaos to boost his own agenda. The questions kept pouring in, and it felt like every hour uncovered more secrets from behind the scenes. A new voicemail reportedly from Kirk to a close associate added fuel to the fire, but this time Kirk didn't sound like someone trying to fix a broken friendship. Instead, he came across as a man shifting blame, full of frustration and bitterness. His words were sharp. "I'm not going to sit here and let him destroy me. I know exactly what's happening, and I won't be played. This is on him, not me." This second recording gave fans a whole different vibe. Kirk didn't seem like he wanted peace anymore. He sounded like he was bracing for a fight. His energy had shifted completely. Instead of asking for forgiveness, it felt like he was preparing for war. His focus now seemed to be protecting his image, defending his reputation, and making sure no one, not even Jock, could bring him down. On the other hand, young Jock remained completely silent. Despite the whirlwind of drama, he hadn't said a word publicly about the leaked voicemails or the growing controversy. Fans were left with nothing but rumors and online chatter, desperately wanting to hear his side of the story. Had Kirk really betrayed someone he once called a friend? Or was Jock just waiting for the right moment to respond? While his silence was loud, it didn't necessarily mean he was doing nothing. Sources close to Jock claimed he was having private discussions with his team to plan his next move carefully. There were even whispers that Jock was talking to legal advisors about possibly filing a lawsuit against Kirk for defamation. If true, that meant this situation had gone way beyond just a reality show storyline. Now, there were real-life consequences. Tensions were rising quickly. Fans were growing frustrated as the silence continued. With no response from Jock, the speculation only got louder. Some believed Jock was simply waiting for the perfect moment to expose Kirk, while others assumed he was thinking things through, unsure how much damage telling the full truth might cause. Meanwhile, the entire Love and Hip Hop cast and crew were feeling the aftershocks. The drama between Kirk and Jock had become the center of attention, and the fallout was spreading through the entire franchise like wildfire. As tensions rose between the two men, people began to choose sides. Some members of the cast showed open support for Kirk, while others publicly backed young Jock. A few even criticized Kirk openly, questioning how he could go from asking for forgiveness to blaming everyone else around him. This level of division threatened to rip the entire cast apart. Reportedly, Mona Scott-Young was livid behind the scenes. Even though she built her empire on intense, over-the-top drama, this situation had caught her off guard. The production was in complete chaos after the voicemails went public, and it wasn't just Kirk's place on the show that was in jeopardy. The credibility of the whole franchise was being questioned. Many longtime viewers, who originally tuned in for the drama, started to wonder if Love and Hip Hop was even real anymore, or just scripted chaos. Could Mona find a way to repair the damage, or had Kirk's actions caused a blow too big to recover from? Sources close to the production claimed things were growing more intense behind the scenes, as the ongoing fallout between Kirk Frost and young Jock kept unfolding. With the leaks, the silence, and the pressure from fans, this wasn't just a messy storyline anymore. It had turned into a full-scale reality TV disaster that no one saw coming. The big question now is whether Kirk and Jock can ever rebuild their friendship, or if this marks the end of everything between them. We want to hear from you. Do you think it's too late for forgiveness? Or will Jock give Kirk another chance? Has Kirk's behavior done irreversible harm? Or can Love and Hip Hop survive this scandal and come back stronger? Let's hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all the latest tea, insider info, and exclusive drama straight from the set. And if you're as intrigued as we are, give this video a like for more updates on this unbelievable situation. Share it with your friends so they don't miss what happens next. Trust us, this story is far from over.